How's it going, everybody? It's Nick Atkin here. It's Monday, so it's time for the podcast. Hope you're all doing well. That's right, I'm back. Be heading off to Bangkok tomorrow, so we're getting it in. Obviously, I'm going to Bangkok for one fight night 32, so I'll be previewing the show tonight. We'll be doing about an hour, so till 11 p.m. or so here. Maybe go a little bit over. No guests today because there's plenty to talk about. I wanted to get a guest, but I figured I just had a couple of guests, interviews with Stamp and Superlek, plenty of stuff from them, particularly Superlek. And then Chatri, of course, has given his take on it too. So we'll be discussing that. Don't think there's time for a guest. And also, I'll be doing a lot of interviews on the ground in Bangkok. So you can get your fix there on Wednesday. I'll have John Ghazali, John Stupinan, I think Jalsuyai, Nakrobe, all the people I can find from the card who are still there. There's been some late changes to the card. I'm sure we will discuss all that too, and everything else in between, all the news. Some fights announced also for the tent pole since we last spoke, and also there's a big card on Friday this week. Some interesting fights on that we can talk about. Hope everyone's well. Official Lewis, thanks for joining. One of my members, great to see. Appreciate the support from all the members. Really helps me, pay my contributors, such as Juliana, who will be on the ground with me this week in Bangkok again, filming some content for the channel. All the interviews before and after the weigh-ins. There's no face-offs again, I hear. So, yeah, just 3 days of fun from us. But yeah, as I said, Official Lewis, thank you. Story of the Fight, thank you for being members. It really helps me. It's just a little bit, but every little helps. If you guys want to help the channel, want to help what I do, please consider being a member. Otherwise, still enjoy. Still welcome to hang out. But remember, like and subscribe if you can. At the very least, like and subscribe. All right. NG, drama. NG pumped up for the drama. Yeah, there's a lot of drama we're going to talk about. You haven't watched the Superlek interview. Gorillas are cool animals. Well, I'll give you the gist of it. NG's done it in the chat. Yeah, there you go. Basically, Superlek claimed he had no clue what was going on. Chatri called BS. Yeah. So I'll get into it. I'll run it down. Why don't we just dive into it right now? I'll stop waffling. So I did an interview with Superlek on Thursday night. Yeah, I think it was right after I went to the gym. And then I published it on Friday just before. Oh, no, I didn't. I got it ready, and then I left it till Saturday because I was pretty busy on Friday. I went to watch Man United play in Hong Kong. We pulled off an incredible 3-1 victory over the Hong Kong national team. It was incredible. No, it was pretty. No, I enjoyed it. Yeah, but I got rained on for 3 hours. It was pretty horrific, but I had fun. Anyway, so I published this Superlek video on Saturday, and I put out an article which is here for you. I'm putting it on screen now. So if you need to get caught up, Superlek denies requesting 3-round fight versus Nabil. So go check it out if you want. BangkokPost.com. There's a whole one championship vertical. You can get the link in my bio on Twitter, Instagram, wherever, Facebook. A whole page dedicated to my one championship content. But this is one you want to read, definitely. Superlek has denied he asked for his bout with Nabil to be changed to a 3-round contest, contradicting earlier claims made by Chatri. So Superlek's basically been out of pocket for a while. He's re-emerged, and he's talking finally. So my main questions to him were, what happened with the 3-round non-title thing? Did you ask for that? Why didn't you want to do 5? And Superlek said some interesting things. He said, I didn't have any problem if it was going to be 5 rounds, because I think normal procedure would be the person who makes weight. We would go 5 rounds, and then if that person wins, they would get the belt. That's what we're familiar with. But after the weigh-ins and then a bit later on, I was notified it would be a 3-round fight. So I did not know that before the team notified me. So I was like, okay, 3 rounds it is. Which is obviously different to what Chatri said at the post-event press conference at Saitama Super Arena. Chatri said Superlek's camp had refused to go ahead if the bout was still 5 rounds. And Nabil was pissed off, obviously, and they had a bit of a chat, him and Chatri, when the cameras stopped rolling, the microphones were off, backstage there. Pretty animated. Chatri said something along the lines of, what we're supposed to do. I remember I was in the room about 10 yards away. Very interesting. So, but yeah, Superlek said he understood why Nabil was angry. Admits he was confused by the decision too. Sorry, I'm a bit tongue-tied here. Oh, there you go. Just came back from the gym again and forced down some dinner. All right. Yes, the way he was upset is absolutely understandable. I totally get that, but I also don't understand what happened there, because when I was notified it was going to be a 3-round fight, I was thinking, oh, why didn't Nabil just ask for 5 rounds? Yeah. I finished the weigh-in and the face-off, then I got notified this is the update for the fight. So I was like, okay, I think Nabil had made weight and I think he had the right to fight 5 rounds. If I was to fight 5 rounds with him, okay, because he'd done everything right. So he was eligible to try to get the belt, of course, and I wouldn't have a problem with that. I was just thinking as well, why didn't he ask for 5 rounds? So yeah, he said some other interesting stuff. Worth checking out the interview if you haven't. He confirmed he had some injuries going into the fight, and he's recovering from those. That's why he's been laying low. Said he was disappointed about missing weight, and he says as well he'd like to earn his way back up to the top and let Nabil and Haggerty fight it out for the belt if that's what One Championship wants. So anyway, that is a big news. That is, if you haven't heard of it, yeah, hopefully you are now caught up. That was the question from someone in the chat. Gorillas are cool animals, I think. So yeah, I then woke up this morning and had a message from Chatri, who wanted to get his version out, because he said what he said at the press conference, and I'll show you what he said to me. This story went up today on Bangkok Post. Another exclusive from your boy Nick Atkin. There it is. Chatri disputes Superlek's claim over Nabil's fight switch. So yeah, this was interesting. Chatri pushed back on Superlek's version of events surrounding the bout with Nabil. Yada yada. After Superlek missed weight in Tokyo, Rick Orty from One's competition department, he is the vice president now, Rick, of competition, promoted a month ago or 2 months. Good on him. Rick's the guy who normally does the weigh-ins. You'll see on camera he reads the scale and announces the results of the weight and the hydration. But he didn't do it last month, I think. I'm not sure if he's doing it this month. Charles Pearson stepped in. I don't know if that's a permanent thing. Did like Rick on the scale duty, but if you don't know who Rick Orty is, that's Rick. So Rick deals with all of this stuff, and when people miss weight, he then organizes the process of getting them to come and try and pass the hydration so they can then weigh in again. And then he'll try to organize a catch weight with the opponent. So once Superlek came back or whatever, according to Chatri, Superlek spoke to Rick in person to try to make the fight. Superlek did not agree to Rick's initial request to keep the fight at 5 rounds. So this is, I guess, after Superlek comes back and passes hydration. Superlek agreed only to a 3-round fight versus Nabil, in addition to giving Nabil 30% of his purse for missing weight. So that's another significant detail. Normally, I think it's 20% of the purse. So, yeah, Nabil definitely shook Superlek down for a little bit more. And he should, especially if it's a 3-round non-title fight. There's not much impetus for Nabil to do it. So there you are. Who do you believe? That is the thing. Do you believe Superlek, who said he just didn't know why Nabil didn't ask for 5, but he was okay with 3, and he was unaware that his team had asked for 3, or he was just told it was 3? Or do you believe Chatri, who said the same thing he said at the press conference? So I don't know. I'll leave that up to you guys, but let's talk about it. So get your comments in the chat. Story of the fight says, if you're watching right now, just go ahead and click the like button. It's easy to forget. Yes, like now. I presume you guys all subscribe. If you haven't, please do. Right. Yes, Man United. We were. It was a good performance. But back on to Superlek. Flaming Moses. I believe Chatri. He would never lie. Story of the fight thinks Superlek's going straight to Chatri jail for this one. And then Combat Sports Today says, we're here. Another member. Thanks for joining Combat Sports Today. I love all my members. Flaming Mo as well. Forgot to point out a member. Appreciate it. NG weighing in saying, he definitely does seem the type to just kind of go along with whatever is going on around him. When I was with him in Denver, he kind of just agreed to everything that was happening. I guess it could be the case. I don't know, but I feel like there must have at some point been a conversation where someone said, Superlek, will you do 5 rounds? And he must have had to answer yes or no. And Chatri's saying that conversation happened in person with Rick Orty in the weigh-in room or in the hallway outside at the hotel. And Chatri's saying Superlek declined the 5 rounds. So it's who's right, who's wrong? We don't know. I guess Nabil hasn't weighed in. I did speak a little bit to him on messages. We'll see if he's gonna talk about it. I imagine it's still quite a sore point for him, and I mean I know it is. So I don't want to push him too hard, but I'm sure he will give his take at some point on all this. But either way, I think there's no conclusion. There's no. It's still up in the air, isn't it? It's what I don't like. If Superlek did decline the 5 rounds, I would prefer he just said, I just didn't think I could do 5 rounds, whatever. I've been injured, and I've lost the belt anyway. Although, why would you then say you didn't ask for 3 rounds and non-title, and that you would like Nabil to have the belt? Something is wrong somewhere. Something's not adding up. So I don't know. I'm not knocking Superlek. I love the guy, and he's one of my favorite fighters, and I think he's earned the right to have his voice heard. And someone is not telling the truth between everyone. So the story of the fight says, I agree. It was already such a weird weekend for Superlek. This all just adds to it. Bizarre. Yeah, it was. I wasn't expecting him to say this stuff. So there's Tristan. What's up? Feel free, Tristan, to join. I don't know if you are free, but you have the access code if you want to do the preview for Fight Night 32. Up to you, bro. Otherwise, it's solo Nick show, and that's fine. I got plenty of stuff to discuss. Amor says Fairtech still posting about sheer training. Yeah, we'll get into that in a minute. I'll just finish the Superlek stuff. Angie doesn't want to call Superlek oblivious, but maybe he was just feeling grumpy and didn't think through what he was thinking because he was down and disoriented from missing hydration. Yeah, it could be. I've told my version of events pretty clearly. Superlek, I was there, and I got the call on the bus when I was heading to the face-offs. Chatri called me, said, here's the update. You can put it out. It's going to be a 3-round fight, non-title, and so pretty interesting. Something's happened there, and I thought the possibility maybe is Superlek's refusing to do it, and the only way they can do it is if Nabil agrees to 3-round, or maybe Chatri's trying to protect Superlek for whatever reason. If he gets KO'd by Nabil, he doesn't want to. He probably wanted to have a title fight down the line. This way would have protected it a bit. I don't know. I'm not saying Chatri did that. I'm just speculating. I don't think that's likely. I know a lot of people question some things Chatri says, but I don't know why he would lie on this one, for real. So make of that what you will. NG, like Ongla said, he would retire right then and there, but then a bit later he was thinking straight and said he would come back. Yeah, I guess, but difference. Ongla had just been violently knocked out. I guess obviously Superlek was feeling a bit rough after that. What I presume was a bad weight cut. And he took the blame for that. In our interview, he said he made a mistake. He had a good plan from his team, and he personally made a mistake. I don't know what mistake he made, whether it was just not dieting enough in time, or maybe he, a lot of the Thais like to run around in the sweatsuits, but it was pretty cold in Tokyo, so I don't know how. But sometimes they can throw things off. The traditional methods can mess with the scientific approach of the hydration test. Ong is asking, is there anything we can do to push Rodtang versus Nabil instead? I think Myanmar Sports News also asked this. Don't know if you two are the same people, but I know Myanmar Sports News. I've been seeing them on my Facebook. Thanks for always commenting. Appreciate it. I don't think Rodtang will fight Nabil. The height is too much, and Rodtang would be better off staying at flyweight, I believe. Honestly, I don't want to see Rodtang bouncing back again up to bantamweight. I think Rodtang versus Nongo is probably the best fight to make now. If it's going to be Muay Thai, if it's kickboxing, I'd really love to see Rodtang versus Superlek. I think Superlek should focus on flyweight again, especially if he's not going to go back straight away for the belt in bantamweight. Okay, what's up, everyone here? Just want to see Onglan saying, yeah, so do I, Nori. I love Ongla. I was just thinking earlier before I started the show, when's Ongla coming back? Yeah, I had a brief chat with him recently. He said he was sort of being talked about for July or something like that, summer. But I don't know. We haven't, like we were saying on the last show, I think, we could really do with a big impact card or something like that to perk things up right now. I don't think you're going to see Ongla at Lumpini. He's an arena guy. All right. Yeah, Gorillas doesn't want to see Rodtang at bantamweight either. I agree. I just think he's too small, height-wise, and there's some big guys there now. Not that he couldn't compete with them. It's just I don't think you see the best Rodtang. I think best Rodtang is working with Peter Miller and getting himself down to flyweight with no issues. Right. Yeah, he's too undersized, as you say. Haggerty has announced he's going to fight camp soon. Who is he facing? Lewis says. Wow, I didn't know that. I will just check his gram. Is it on the gram? I presume so. That's interesting. If he has said that, God, my internet's dreadful. I presume it's Nabil. I'm gonna take a wild guess because that is what I've heard that they were trying to make that fight. Yeah, and that's kind of what Superlek was hinting at in our interview. He's heard the same. So I don't know. Where did you see that, Lewis? The journey back begins. Okay. Well, yeah, I see on his Instagram. If that was it, sure, maybe. I don't know if he's made an official announcement, but I would imagine he might fight Nabil. I'm not sure. He has a clear contender in kickboxing. You could do Yukioza. I'd rather see Yukioza fight Superlek next. If Superlek's staying at bantamweight, I think that's a great fight. Kickboxing. So yeah, Haggerty versus Nabil. If Superlek doesn't want the belt, Haggerty is probably the next best shout. Okay. Do you think Superbomb versus Nori is going to be in Japan? Yeah, I think so. I think it'll be Japan towards the end of the year. Flaming Mo says, I wish everyone would stay in their own divisions unless Superlek wants to maintain his hard number 5 bantamweight kickboxing ranking. Yeah, has Superlek even fought in bantamweight kickboxing? I don't think so. Which is why he should fight what's his face? Yeah, Yuki Yoza. Oh, sorry. I ate my food too quickly. Right, here we go. Superlek hasn't fought in kickboxing for a while. Agreed. I mean, that is factually correct. I was thinking that the other day he hasn't defended his belt for forever. I'm trying to think when it was. Was it Daniel Williams? Let's have a look. It really could be. Like, that's 2 years ago now. Obviously, he's been busy boy across 2 sports and 2 divisions. Superlek. Okay, let's look at it together. I'm putting Tapology on the screen here. Maybe I should have used one's official website. But there he is with the ring girls, the one championship. What was their name? The one ring girls? I don't know. Okay, so yes. Last time he fought kickboxing was well, the Daniel Williams fight was kickboxing, so I think that's he fought Takaru, yeah. Sorry, I'm completely missing. It was Takaru a year and 2 months ago. Okay, so it's still a long time. Not as long. I think he could get away with waiting a bit, but yeah, I'd like to see him in kickboxing against, if it's bantamweight, Yuki Yoza, if it's flyweight, Rodtang. That's the only fights you can do. But, I asked him about that, whether he thinks Rodtang's earned a shot at him now in kickboxing, and he was pretty wishy-washy on it. I don't think they guys want to fight. They're good friends. They play football together a lot. You wouldn't want to fight your friend, would you? Story of the fight says, just give me Yuki Yoza versus Superlek. I agree. Yeah, Superlek and Rodtang in kickboxing would be amazing. Gorilla says the Rodtang who KO'd Takeru, I think you mean, it might actually beat Superlek. Yeah, that's what I mean. And I think I want to see this version of Rodtang who actually takes his preparations 100% seriously against Superlek. Yoja should fight Inahachi, Gorillas suggests. Would be a tough fight for both. Yep. Pet Tanong's out there as well, but our friend Ichi from Beyond Kickboxing said Pet Tanong might be a bit of a nightmare matchup for Yuki Yoza. Winner could get a title shot. It was pretty low key. Angie said that Haggerty just said, book your seminars now going into fight camp. Okay, so I missed that post. Let me see it. I will be hosting seminars around the UK for a limited time. It doesn't seem to say anything about a fight. Oh, yeah, the picture says that. Sorry, I was reading the text. Doy. What an idiot. Okay, so I'll put that on screen because it is a bit noteworthy. Haggerty says, if you look at the picture, it says UK Seminars 2025. As I will soon be entering fight camp, discounted rates are currently available. There you go. So it looks like he's got something lined up. Yeah, I think it's probably Nabil for the bantamweight belt. And then it should be, yeah. Otherwise, if kickboxing, I don't, yeah, like I said, I don't think there's a clear-cut contender. But, I wouldn't mind seeing Haggerty against Inahachi or Pet Tanong or Yuki Yosa. You know, I love all these fights. Okay, back to the chat. Well, yeah, Gorillas says Pet Simone versus Wei Rui. I like the sound of that too. Hiroki Akimoto in the mix as well there. But anyway, what was I? Next story. Let's go. We'll keep moving. This is a preview. Fight Night 32 preview. It could be. I think I've discussed all the newsy news, or I could do a little roundup at the end of the day for you, or the end of the show. Sorry, but maybe I should jump straight into the preview. I think that's the big deal. But yeah, the big news from that whole thing is that Shia Cohen and Sharon Alicia is off again, the second time that fight has been cancelled. So Nakrob and Jiaosu Yai is your main event again. So it originally was the main event, and then a few weeks ago they added, or it wasn't even, I think it was like 2 weeks ago they added Alicia and Shia to the card, and then it's off again. So we'll preview all of this. But one put out a thing on socials saying Shia was injured and had withdrawn. I'm gonna try and find it, but I think it came out on Friday night while I was at the football, so I didn't cover it. Apologies. Where is it? Probably one post so much stuff, it's hard to find anything. Well, it's like from 3 days ago. There it is, breaking. Okay, so I'll take this one off again, and I'll add that back in. There it is, Instagram. Breaking: Shia Cohen out of Fight Night 32 due to injury. Shia has withdrawn from the atomweight Muay Thai World Title fight due to injury. Yeah, we wish Shia a quick and speedy recovery. All right, it is sad, definitely. I was looking forward to that fight, and like I said, when I was canvassing for that fight to be added to the show on this podcast, I was calling for it, and they added it. Yeah, so it's a shame. I think that card needs a title fight, and it's not on paper looking too strong now. Hate to say it. Always enjoy, as I say every time, I always enjoy every event when they're on. It's always a fun time. It's hard not to enjoy when you have all this incredible action. 4 rounds of Muay Thai usually delivers the goods, particularly. But yeah, no sizzle in terms of title fight. Not even I thought they might add a grappling title fight. Nothing. So I'd probably say it's the weakest fight night card since they've been around. Since August 2022, I think it is. They started these things. They were called One on Prime Video back then, and yeah, I think especially since it's also switched to pretty much being at Lumpini every month. Yeah, this is definitely on paper, I would say, the least exciting, but I'm still hyped for some good stuff here. The Koban Jiaosu should be good. I hope they make it 5 rounds, but I guess it's a bit unfair to ask those guys to do 5 rounds now, a week out. Not even unfair, probably impossible, and they can't do it. But it'll be a bit flat, a 3-round Muay Thai main event. I always think it should be 5, whatever the fight in the main is. And I thought Longo and Kongtorni should have been 5 last month. Alif and El Mehdi now co-main, so that's been bumped up. I think that was lower down the card before. So Ali Beg and Abevi, Johan Ghazali, Diego Paez, Stupinan and Taiki Naito. Yeah, some MMA here. Not too familiar with some of these guys. Ibrahim Dawev, I remember, failed to pass hydration to fight Jeremy Pakatu in February, something like that, or March. Against Magomed Akayev, I have no idea who this guy is. Sorry, Magomed. And Nicolas Vina, I remember he fought Cade Rotolo in Qatar, lost. Did pretty well, to be honest, to evade Cade for most of the first round, but eventually got done. And Jabir Jabrailov, yeah, this guy I like. He's been quite impressive on Friday fights. Yeah, Rambolek and Dimitri. So it's not the best card in terms of sizzle, but I'll still enjoy it. I'm sure. Story of the fight says Estupinan versus Naito will be great. Yeah, I agree. Taki Naito is a fun fighter. What official Lewis? What do you think about fight night cards not featuring title bouts anymore? Yeah, I don't like it. That's what I said on the show when I asked. I begged to put Alicia and Sheer on the card. Said these cards need a title fight. It's your bread and butter. These. When I think about the Prime Video shows when they first launched, they were super stacked, even though they were in empty arenas still, like COVID, the first one I think was. But you had some awesome shows. They were in the one in Manila with Derrida and Malikan, I think, was the Prime. I think that was the morning. There was such an awesome event. The DJ and Mariah's second fight was there. Angela Lee and Zhang Jingnan, Fabricio and Lineker twice. Even the second one was at Lumpini. That was still, still had that big card feel. I got the poster on the wall somewhere. There's some great fights on that. Tawan Chow was on it. And then I think April, you had the Haggerty and Nongo matchup. I think as long as you have a big title fight on these things, you can put whatever you want beneath it, and it's going to be fine. But if you don't have the title fight, and then the stuff below doesn't, live up to expectations, you're going to invite people to grumble, people like me to grumble online and on podcasts. I try to be nice, but there'll be some people who will be less nice on the internet. That is a thing that happens. NG also comments on Ghazali and Haggerty. Those two are swinging at each other before getting the ring. No, don't. I think that was on the channel that I used to work for, so I don't watch their stuff. Yeah. So I'll ask Ghazali about it on Wednesday. We'll see what he says. But I think he's got to focus on this fight, and those guys are always calling each other out, like Ramadan Ondash, Tomahawk Unisov, Rustam Unisov, Freddie Haggerty, Jojo Ghazali. There's like this four. I think there's one more as well. I don't know. I can't remember, but they're all like 18, 19, all phenoms, for their age in Muay Thai. So their future is bright. Estupinan is there as well, and Keith Kuluzada as well, I think, coming up now. So it's much of a muchness. Akayev is 10-0 and looks decent, says Flaming Mo. He also won that Russian reality show that Nate Diaz was just on. Right. Interesting. Well, thanks for the heads up. I did not know that. It's interesting because I know it's just come out that Nate had this wild brawl with the Russian fighters or whatever, but I remember because he came to Hong Kong and everyone was like, "Why is Nate Diaz in Hong Kong?" And I know someone who met him. I know a few people actually who ran into him, and one of them was Emily Chong, who trains at the gym, the Muay Thai gym, Warrior, where I'm doing my stuff, and she obviously fights for one. And she said, "Yeah, Nate told me he had to leave Thailand because he was in trouble with the Russians." I was like, "What has Nate done?" And then all that stuff came out about a week later, the video. So it was fun, but no, I don't even know what that show is. Yeah, but fair play, Magomed Akayev. I will watch your career with great interest, as Senator Palpatine once said in The Phantom Menace. Was he a senator by that point? I don't know. I think so. The guy who turns into the Emperor, Anyway, he was on a previous season training with Kamzat. Okay, well, interesting. I'm not going to watch it, Flaming Mo, but I like the information you've given me. Low bar, but at least it will be better than whatever the hell UFC put on last weekend. Story of Five says. Yeah, I heard that card wasn't so good. Main event fell apart before the walkouts. Yeah, Macy Barber had a seizure, I was reading. So at least that's never happened in one. As at the top of my head, I don't think a fight's ever been cancelled right when the fighters are about to walk out. Okay. Gorillas doesn't mind the lack of title fights on the cards. There are still some great fights on the cards, they say. But to be honest, Estupiñán versus Naito will probably be the fight of the night. Yeah. Yeah, spoilers. Darth Palpatine was Darth Sidious. Yeah, I think everyone's seen episode 1, 2, 3 by now. Not that they're good films that you should watch, but yeah. Sorry to spoil it if I have. But yes. Predictions for each fight. What shall I say? I'll just do it off the top of my head. Nakoro versus Jiaosu. I think Jiaosu Yai will win this one. He's on a good run, and what is he? What is he now? I think he's got like 8 wins in a row or something mad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh no, sorry, that's not true. 4 wins in a row. 7 overall. So 2 losses on Friday fights, both decisions. He's got 4 wins in a row, 3 of them by knockout. Last was against Dennis Porch, former title challenger, kickboxing. So, is that right? No, he's not. What did he? Is he a former title challenger? No, he wants the title fight. He wanted the Rod Tang title fight, but he had to fight him in kickboxing. That's correct. Much of a muchness. Okay, so I'm going with Jiaosu Yai there. Alif and Almedi. I feel Alif should win that one. Almedi looked good though against Tong Poon. Obviously very jacked. Body is a bit insane, and that was a hell of a knockout on Tong Poon. So yeah, I think Alif will have his work cut out, but I think he should get the win. Ali Beg and Maurice. I'd go with probably. It was a tough one. I think Maurice could win it. It just depends what Ali Beg's game plan is. He tried to strike with Christian Lee. If he tries to strike with a bevy, I think it might not go so well for him. If he uses his wrestling, that might be a better plan. But Bevy seems fairly well-rounded. I like him. Ghazali against Diego Paez. I would probably say Jojo. Diego Paez didn't look the best last time out against Sean Clamaco. A very close fight. But I think I would give the edge to Ghazali. But, we've seen Ghazali struggle with people with more experience than him, such as Nguyen at one, whatever it was, the Bangkok Impact Arena show last summer. And Diego has got experience. He's been around the block, so he could well come up with a game plan to frustrate Ghazali like Nguyen did. So we'll see. Estupiñán versus Taiki Naito. Well, you'd have to give the edge to Johannes Estupiñán there, as game as Taiki Naito is. But you never know. I would predict Estupiñán there, though. But it may be a decision. It depends. I expect a fun fight, nonetheless. I don't know much about Dawev or Akayev, but Flaming Mo seems to like this guy, so maybe we'll go with Akayev. Rambolek and Dmitry Kovtun. That's a tough one. Rambolek's on a resurgence, but Dimitri's on a nice roll himself. And the gym, Sityodtong Pinong, have a good game plan. They've obviously fought Rambolek before with Ace of 10 Pow. I feel Dimitri could pull off an upset there. I'm just saying it because Tristan's watching and he's gonna be pissed off. No, I do think that could be one. It's an interesting test for Rambolek. Let's see how far his resurgence really. He has looked amazing the last fight in particular. The last two fights, he's been good. Three wins in a row. Now he's rebuilt himself. He looked very good against Parham, who has a good reputation. But Dmitry Kovtun is crafty. Could squeak out a decision. I feel that would be the one I might go against the grain with. Yeah, Kovtun. I might be completely wrong, and he gets completely splattered on the canvas. And Nicholas Vinya and Jabir Jabrailov. I will go with the young lad from Turkey, Jabir. He is quite a exciting prospect. Training out in Bangkok. I can't remember the gym, but I know one of his friends or someone who trains with him there. She said he's very good, and I saw him. Yeah, he got an impressive win while I was there. I can't remember what it was. January, yeah. So 2 wins now he's had on Friday fights, both knockouts with a combined ring time of about a minute, I think. Yeah, 1 minute and 7 seconds, something like that. 20 seconds his first fight, 47 seconds his second fight. So we'll see if he can translate that to the global stage, as they say. I don't know. Yeah, if Vinya is a step up in competition for him, because all I've seen from Vinya is getting kind of manhandled by Cade Rutolo for a couple of minutes. All right. Well, those are my predictions. Give me yours in the chat. Not having a submission grab ass co-main is more important than having a title fight, says John Flo. I forgot how much John hates the grappling. Welcome back, John. Good to see you. One Fight Night 35, September 6th. Tenkai versus Abdulayev official, says Timur. Really? I haven't seen that. Where did you see it, Timur? I'm happy, though. That's nice. But September seems quite far away. Interesting they're booking it so far out. Why? They don't normally do that. So, any reason? Yeah, story of the fights happened. I'm wondering, this, and that's probably not true, but maybe if it's so far out because is it in China possibly? Are they going to China with it, and they're having a nice 4-month runway to sell some tickets? I would love it to be in China. I think that'd be awesome to see one go back there. And if you're going to do anything with Tenkai in China, now's the time. It's now or never. He's got the belt still, so I would think after this fight he may not have it, because just based on the evidence of the first fight, yeah, it was pretty dominant for Akbar. Nothing on their IG. Story of the fight says, "Don't tease me, Timur." Chester says, "Where do you see this?" I think Timur was the one who actually told us on the show last time when the fight had been made official. I think he saw it on social media somewhere. So Timur, yeah, fill us in if you can. But that is interesting. I'm happy. Yes, it's always good when fights are booked well in advance. It's just much better for all involved. No booking 1 month out. It's not very ideal for people. Right now I will just kind of go through the rest of the news by scrolling through my Twitter feed, presuming I haven't missed anything big there. One Friday Fights 111 card this week, so I'll be there. Should be fun. Petsukumbit versus Silvio Vitez. Love Silvio obviously had that fight with Pampayak late last year, and he's coming off a win now against Tomoki Sato. I think it was a second round TKO doctor stoppage. Looking forward to that one. Isla Erica Bomagao is back. Everyone's favorite Filipino Muay Thai fighter returns against Neria Rubio of Spain. This fight was booked in March, end of March, you may remember, and then there was an earthquake in Bangkok, so they cancelled the show. It's been rebooked for this, yeah. So there you go. And I'm also excited about Misaki from Japan. She is the shootboxing atomweight champion. She will be fighting Ran Longshu, who lost to Isla last time out. So, yeah, excited to see what Misaki can do, whether she can translate from shootboxing to kickboxing. Didn't go too well for Kaito a couple of weeks ago against Siasarani. We'll see if Misaki can do better. But yeah, those are the three fights I'm kind of intrigued the most by. Let me know what you're looking forward to, if you are looking forward to any of it. Story of the fight's just waiting for Ben Tainan news. John says their history of booking fights far out is not good. Yeah, it's definitely been short notice fights a lot of the time, which is difficult because you have to stay ready with a hydration system as well. You've got to be kind of on point, which a lot of people are all the time. They let themselves get a bit out of shape. They eat a bit more. What else did I have? We talked about the Superlek news. I also interviewed Stamp last. When was it? Maybe I already covered this on the last show. I think I did, so we won't get into it. But yeah, I interviewed Stamp. I remember we did now, so I'll leave that. But I haven't. I don't think I had any other major news this week. If I've missed anything, please tell me. Otherwise, yeah, we can just chit chat for another 10 minutes or so. A live bread, but yeah, get your questions in if you have any too. Is there any chance One Friday Fights 114 main event is a title fight since they haven't labeled the cards as Lobo versus Kulabdam? Well, yeah, I was asking Lobo that on the show last week whether he was the main event. He didn't seem to know. I think they may add a title fight. I wouldn't be surprised, yeah, if they sneak one in. You know, I'm hearing some things now, so I've actually just put 2 and 2 together in my head about who it might be. So, we'll see. Yeah, I expect they're going to add a title fight on there because it's a nice card, but it's not. As I was saying last week, I think it's not fully there. I think for a tentpole, you need a little bit more. But yeah, 4 good fights. Nadika is back. Pampayak is back. Seksan and Mangtai. Lobo Kulabdam. Solid card, but add a title fight. Ideally, add 2 title fights, and it becomes a great card. Okay. Well, yeah, it could be a short show then tonight. I don't have anything else to get into. Maybe just I'm still a little kind of reeling from that Superlek and Chatri stuff. You know, I was wasn't sure whether Superlek had talked about this already, the kind of 3-round, 5-round thing. So there seems to have caused some waves. Yeah, I've done the interview's done quite well on my channel. It's my first hit for a while, actually. So we got about 4,000 views on that one. Appreciate you if you've taken the time to sit through and watch it. He said some interesting stuff. There's some other things in there about maybe fighting Yuki Yoza and maybe Rodtang, and whether he's going to be flyweight, bantamweight. A good interview. It's well worth watching. One of my best for a while. The stamp one didn't take off. We were hoping it'd take off. It has not. I don't know whether this Superlek one will kickstart my algorithm a little bit this week. I would love it if so, because haven't been doing great numbers for a while. Things are stalling a little bit. Yeah, I don't know whether that's just a general lack of big one news is kind of filtering through and affecting everything else. Could be, yeah. There's not a huge card since the Japan show. It's been 2 or 3 cards that are sort of a little less exciting, you might say, but hopefully, I think this tempo will pick it up a little bit. But yeah, that's it. Could be an early finish, first time under an hour, unless you have any dying wish or something you want to discuss. Get it in right now. Any questions? I can hang around. Otherwise, I'll end it. But yeah, I'm heading to Bangkok tomorrow afternoon. Touchdown. Plan to catch up with my buddy Keith, who I haven't seen here tonight. Keith in the chat, remember? Yeah, I'll see him tomorrow night for sure. And then we'll be having the media day. I'll grab whoever I can for that. Then the weigh-ins, always fun there, guaranteed. Friday fights on Friday night. No face-offs again, I hear, for Fight Night 32. But yeah, I'm enjoying a morning off then, and then I'll be at Lumpini for Friday fights 32, and then I'll be back in the morning for the big show, Fight Night 32. Yeah, it's been fun. I'm feeling fully rested. I've been back in Hong Kong for 4 weeks this time, so I have kind of been needing a break. We had a very busy start to the year. It was 2 shows in January and then February and March, and then there was one at the beginning of April. So it was basically like 7 shows back to back to back to back to back, 2 weeks in between, well, 1 week in between each one. So I was exhausted. I'm not gonna lie. Then I had 3 weeks before the May card, and now I've had 4. I'm starting to feel human again. Very nice. I know it sucks because there's been a lull in big shows for one, but I'm feeling personally a bit refreshed, which is the only positive. Story of the fight says, can we all take a sec to appreciate the integrity of the channel? That Superlek video popped off because of the drama, but it's not drama that you instigated. Well, I wasn't trying to needle him or anything. I just was generally intrigued to get his side of the story on what happens. I feel like I hadn't seen him say it anywhere, and then he said what he said. I put it out. I hope it wasn't taken as me trying to start drama, but then Nabil did like message me, say like, what the hell is this? Did he actually say that? It's like, well, you can listen to the thing. You could, and then I wasn't expecting to get Chatri to weigh in on it. I thought about asking him, but it was the weekend. I was I was doing some life. I was living life on the weekend. Had a sister-in-law's birthday. I had the Man United match Friday, sister-in-law's birthday on Saturday. Sunday was on a boat, a junk boat. It was fun. So busy weekend. Yeah, the Chatri messaged me this morning, gave his take on it, and so I wasn't trying to start this beef or anything. I think Chatri just wanted to get his side out there, and the way Superlek wanted to get his side out there. So yeah, I wasn't looking to stir things up, but I always think it's good when you have a bit of controversy and drama. I think it drives interest in the product. I don't think one often enough has that kind of intrigue in terms of the fighters creating the storylines for people to invest in, to watch the matches, other than like their personal storylines of like, this is my character. I came from nothing. I went through this hardship to get to this. It's those are great stories, but doesn't make people, I think, in my opinion, want to watch the fight more. What they want is to have a spicy storyline to invest in. Like, this is perfect now. Superlek, if you feel Superlek is lying, and then that rematch with Nabil is going to be epic now. It didn't need any more spice. It just got some extra spice. I like those kind of things. Obviously, you can go too far with it. Some people also think Muay Thai should be pure and kept away from such things as trash talk. And I fully respect your opinion, but I also think if you know if one wants to get that wider audience, especially from the US, they're gonna have to compromise on that stance and have to have a little bit of bad blood and trash talk and sell the fights. It's just the fight business, and we've all been fans of it forever. Yeah, and I think we'd all agree that it's something that makes money. I think I'm just saying it how I see it. I'm sorry if you don't agree. Uh, John wants an abbreviated recap on the Superlek interview. Um, I already kind of did one at the beginning of the show, so I don't want to bore everyone else. But yeah, he basically said he did not ask for 3 rounds and non-title. He would have been happy to do 5. He was surprised Nabil didn't ask for 5, and he was surprised Nabil accepted 3, which Chatri said was not true. And Chatri said Superlek was told in person. He was asked if he'd do the 5 rounds and said no. So yeah, John Flower, don't worry, I got you. You've been buried with your 3 oldest boys' college enrollments, have not seen anything other than the fight cut. Yeah, well, hopefully that helped. I gave a tiny abbreviation, but it boils down to someone's telling lies, either Superlek or Chatri, or there's someone kind of maybe in the middle. I don't know. A lot of people are saying this side, and a lot of people saying that side. So I'm not going to weigh in. It's good, but it needs to come naturally like this. Can't force it. Yes, the drama. Exactly. Personal issues make people become emotionally invested, John Flowers says. My man meme. Am I in trouble for translating it? I don't know. My man meme, what's up? I'll see you on Wednesday. Yes, it certainly caused a stir, to say the least. I'm sure on Thai social media. Official Lewis says, "What do you think of the odds we actually get the scheduled Denver card next year?" I hope so. I hope so. Right now, I don't know. Depends. Yeah, how Stamp's recovery goes. Like I say always, you need Stamp and Rodtang, ideally both of them on that card. So if the stars align, perfect. Jester thinks Rick is to blame. Poor old Rick. He got all that flack with the Liam Harrison incident in Bangkok with the weigh-in. I don't think he's done anything wrong here. No. Who do you believe? John Flower asked. I don't think it's right for me to give my opinion on it because, like I said, I'm reporting both sides, and I don't know. I wasn't in the room when Superlek weighed in. I was in the room when Marat weighed in, and so I gave my 2 cents on that whole thing with the Kaito. I don't know. I'm kind of sitting on the fence there. Sorry, John. Splinters in my ass. All right, in my buttocks. Need the Denver card next year. Can't afford any shows outside the US. Yes. I think it would be very bad optics if they did not do Denver next year, because that would be 3 US shows that have moved, and whatever they moved the Atlanta to Bangkok, the Denver one was moved back a year. So if they then scrap that card completely, yeah, it would be bad optics, I think. So they have to do it. Anyway, John Flower can read between the lines. You can probably tell what I believe. Yeah, I just don't want to piss anyone off. I got to deal with these people. I hope you understand. I got to interview Superlek in the future. I got to interview Chatri in the future. I don't want to have anything I say be taken out of context and yada yada. People put it out on social that I said this, and maybe they see it in the wrong light. So I'll keep my 2 cents to myself. But you can find me on social if you want my opinion, and just message me. Need a 2026 Singapore show as well. Lewis says, yeah, agree. I'd love to go back to the Lion City. Been too long now. 2 years, over 2 years since I was there for Superlek and Daniel Williams. I miss it a lot. Hopefully. But I don't hear anything. Yeah, I had heard it was happening this summer, but that was a long time ago and it's not happened. Wade. Now Wade wants to know what Suplex said. I cannot do it a third time, Wade. I'm sorry. I'm about to end the show, so rewind the show to the beginning, or go. You can check out the interview on the channel here. You can read it on bangkokpost.com. Links in my bio on my socials. But best thing is just rewind this video, listen to the whole thing. Is there a Chatri interview? No, I did request one recently. I don't think it went through. I put a few requests out for some other big names. Try and chase those up. So we'll see. Yeah, it's been a while since I sat down with Chatri virtually or in person. He doesn't do so many interviews these days. Busy man right now. Yeah, we could have walked past each other. We could have. You can usually find me in the Bali Lane area, I think, in the shadow of the Duo Tower where one's office is. So yeah, I'm knocking around that. What's it called? Arab Quarter or something. Yeah, Bali Lane, Arab Street. Is that it? Yeah. I hope I'm not bastardizing it. I think it's called Arab Street. Yeah, it's like very nice. Yeah, there's like lots of paintings on the walls and things, and fun shops and restaurants, bars. It's a cool area. Right. Okay. Gotta pitch Chatri on membership ideas. Yes, Chatri. Start charging us more money. That's what Chester wants, basically. But it's in a good way. All right. I'm gonna leave it there, lads. We'll catch up on Wednesday. I'll be in Bangkok putting out some interviews, and so check them out on the channel. And we'll try and maybe get a podcast in after the weigh-ins, because I think it's going to be a quiet week, so I might have time to catch up with you guys. Yeah, do a live stream after the weigh-ins. I presume there'll be a big miss, so we can talk about that. And then, Friday fights is next. I'll be there doing my thing. And back in the morning, Fight Night 32. Appreciate you all. John, it was good to see you too. The salt mines are calling you. Get back to it. Appreciate you joining, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks, everyone. Yeah, post weigh-ins pod. I'll make sure it happens. Okay, yeah. Who's Alicia's opponent? Super Love Cute Boy says, there is no opponent. The main event is off. No title fight. Sorry, Super Love Cute Boy, to disappoint you. Okay, that's it. I'm out of here. I'll catch you guys next time.